A new tool like this, all new tools, are factory sharpened by somebody in the place they were made who's not a wood carver. What we have to do is get it ready for carving wood properly. And this process is called commissioning. It's a one-off event. You commission the tool, and then after that you're into maintaining it, keeping the shape, keeping the cutting edge. So I've broken down this commissioning into 3 stages, and we can call them 3 S's to remember. The first one is shaping. So when you shape the carving tool, what you're doing is you're removing most of the metal with rough stones and its rough work. When you come to the next stage, which is sharpening, that's refining and getting that edge to the cutting point where the tool will cut wood really well. Then thirdly, we're going to strop the tool, and what the stropping does is polish up that bevel, slick up the edge, makes it pass through the wood much more keenly. And stropping is also what we use for maintaining the edge. So shaping, sharpening and stropping.
Okay, so here's our tool straight from the box. It's got no inside bevel. It's got a short outside bevel. It has a good cutting edge in that it has it's sharp, it's got its corners and it's straight across and square, so that's really what we want. However, we're going to lose that because we're going to create an inside bevel. But no worries, we will get that cutting edge back.
The shaping stage is all about removing a lot of metal and as quickly as possible. So we're using coarse stones. This is a coarse bench stone, an oil stone, used with a light oil, and it's what I started with. You could use a diamond or a ceramic, whatever, but it does need to be coarse to remove the metal quickly. And we use it on the outside bevel to lower that cutting angle. When I started, this was all I had, and it did perfectly well. But at some point I got myself a grinder like this. It's a very simple machine from a DIY store. It doesn't have to be an industrial based one. Simple machine, and you can use this power wheel here to remove a lot of metal quickly. The inside bevel, the shaping of that, actually putting it into the metal, you use a slipstone, rather like this one, and you rub this backward and forwards until you create that inside bevel. But what I've done, which I want to show you here, is I've actually modified one of these wheels. So I keep one wheel square for the outside bevel, and then on the inside bevel I've rounded this over so that I can present the tool like this and grind in an inside bevel, again saving a lot of time. You can modify this wheel, change the shape, form it with a stone like this. It's a coarse dressing stone, and you just rub it onto this wheel as it's spinning, and that'll shape it, it'll wear it down. But be very careful about respiration. You need to have a good mask, do it outside, vacuum, everything, because this will throw up a lot of material that you might breathe in. So there we have it, coarse stones inside and outside in order to shape, to form the correct cutting angle and the inside bevel. Here's the tool at the end of the shaping stage. It's got a substantial inside bevel, quite rough. It's got a longer outside bevel, again rough from the coarse stones. It's got the corners, it's straight across and square. It just isn't sharp. What's important to understand is that 95% of the work in getting this tool ready to carve is done in the shaping stage. So it's really worth spending time getting this right before moving on to the sharpening. So don't leave this stage until you feel confident you've got the tool correctly shaped. The sharpening stage is all about finishing off the bevels to produce the final cutting edge. And for this we use fine stones. This is a fine translucent Arkansas. This is sort of stone again I started off with. Bench stone and a slipstone, both of which are used with oil. Now you can find power machines. There are wood carvers who put out these sort of power sharpeners, something like this one. But you've got to be aware, first of all, I don't know any sharpener, this one included, that will deal with all your tools. So some tools, these shapes will not fit on these wheels. And also the other thing is it's very easy to misshape the tool on this wheel and produce something like a high cutting angle or remove the corners. So I'm going to put those aside for the moment and just let's go back to this stone here. It doesn't matter whether it's translucent Arkansas or not. It could be ceramic, it could be diamond, but it's a fine stone. And similarly, we're going to use the bench stone for the outside bevel, just as before at the cutting angle. And we're going to use the slipstone on the inside bevel to finish off that. And between the two, we'll end up with our final sharp edge. As the white line gets thinner and thinner and disappears, you can test the carving tool, test the cutting edge on a piece of wood. This tool here at the moment is quite hard work, some cutting, but you can see how it's scuffing up the wood. So back to the slipstone and the bench stone to a bit more sharpening. When the tool is sharp, you can actually feel and hear the difference, and you'll get a clean facet without any scuffs or tears, and the tool will zip through the wood. Here's the tool after it's been sharpened. It's got all the features of the carving tool that we wanted. All that remains now is to polish it by stropping. The final step, stropping, uses very fine abrasive. It can be done in a hand manner like this, using a bench strop or slip strops. Or again, there are power wheels like this that are available. I have the same provisos about these wheels as I had before, that they can alter shape very quickly. And if you look at these slip strops here, here's one for example, you can see how many I have to fit all the different shapes of my carving tools. So this as such, unless you have the wheel formed like this, won't work. You won't be able to strop the inside bevel very well of certain tools. But let's just look at this bench strop a moment. Here it is. I've got a cover on it to keep the dust out. It's a flat piece of leather on a board, and it's got an abrasive, a strop paste, which you can make or you can buy. You put that on the leather, and then the bench strop, you strop the outside of the bevel like this, the outside bevel here. Then the inside, you have these various slip strops, which are bits of wood, again thin leather over them, and they're used to, in this like this, to slick up, to polish the inside. And we use this not just to get the tool slick, but to maintain it as well. So as you strop, keep the angle low like this, not up here. Keep it low and even as you go along. This stropping polishes the outside bevel and also softens the heel to enable the tool to sort of slick through the cut more easily. Strop the same number of times on the inside with a slip strop that covers all the edge. And I do get asked how many times you should strop. To begin with, certainly until you polish up the bevel on both sides. But if you want a number, call it 50 times out and 50 times inside. Here's my finished carving tool, shaped, sharpened and stropped, looking beautiful, fully commissioned and ready for me to get carving. Commissioning is a one-off event. You do it when you get the tool out of the box, make it ready for carving, and then to maintain the tool as you're carving, you need to strop it regularly. How often do you strop it? Well, it depends a little bit on how you're using the tool, the hardness of the wood and so on. But even if you think the tool is dull, you need to strop it. And as a basic rule, if you want one, something like every 20 minutes of regular carving, strop it 20 times. The other thing I do is I always put my tools away in the condition I want to get them out. So always check the tools over that they're properly sharp and slick before I put them away, ready for the next time I want them out. Now just before I go, I just want to say one final word that I think is probably one of the most important things I say here. This carving tool is just effectively a glorified wedge of metal. It has an inside and an outside bevel, and the cutting edge is effectively just a feature of the bevel. And many times I find students with carving tools that are sharp but actually cut badly. They're hard work. And if you find a tool like that it's sharp but not cutting well, then you really need to look to the bevels, and the chances are you've got too high a cutting angle.